Okay, so you were saying so with the Black Zillions, you've been kind of a mentor in a way to a lot of legends. I mean, you used to train with John Jones in the Black Zillions. You had KAMARU Usman, and just two guys that are gonna go down as the greatest of all time, right? Uh, and it's so cool, and I think very interesting that you've been very close with both of those guys, right? While you guys used to train and just talking about like exchanging DNA, exchanging blood, sweat, and tears in a gym together, and them learning from you. I mean, that has to have fast track to them to their success. Just interacting so much with you. Can you bring me back to those days a little bit?
Yeah, working with sorry about that.
Oh, good. No
um,
worries.
yeah, so I mean, you know, getting some work in with Kamaru and John Jones and stuff like that. You know, um, you know, being able to be that that role model for them and stuff like that. It has meant a lot because both of those guys are really hard workers. I remember, when I first started, training with John Jones, he had that energy about him, just always, just a big student, always trying to, improve his game. I remember there's times after training, he had to sit there for some time afterwards and kind of practice his moves and, what I'm saying, just kind of let his imagination go, and
Mm-hmm.
we'll do like a little moving around and stuff like that, where we just kind of like practice all kind of moves and stuff. So, um, it helped me out too. So we were kind of feeding each other. With Kamaru, I brought him in the game, from being a wrestler. He didn't even know how to fight at all. And then I kind of brought him into the game as being a wrestler. And he lived with me for a few years. And then, I really had a chance to, yeah, I had a chance to mentor him and really just, bring him around the experience. With Kamaru Usman, he was with me everywhere I went, to these big fights and, just being able to see it firsthand, being able to see success on firsthand, it doesn't make it impossible for you to think that you can achieve the same thing. And you know, once Kamaru got to the big stage, he already knew how it was going to feel. Slightly different because he's the one that's competing, but at the same time, he kind of knew the general feeling of it because he's been there so many times with me. So, you know, it was like an old hat to him. You know what I'm saying? So he was able to really capitalize. And it wasn't just me there too that he was able to soak up like a sponge. We had Vitor Belfort. We had Tyrone Spong, who's a legend in himself.
Right.
Anthony Johnson, Alistair Overeem, Michael Johnson. So there were a lot of guys who was already there that made a name for themselves that he had a chance to really, learn a lot from.
Mm-hmm. That's incredible. Hearing how much time you had spent with these people. I bring this up because a lot of our viewers are also MMA fighters. They're training. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm listening. I'm listening.
Mhm.
I'm listening.
So
Go ahead.
yeah, a lot of our viewers are just huge students of the game, right? And just on the road to
Yeah.
mastery, just becoming amazing. Hey, what's up, Ezekiel?
This is
Hey,
Star. This is Star
what's
right
up,
here. This is
man?
Star. This is Star.
Hey.
Yeah.
uh,
But
yeah. So I was saying a lot of our viewers are pretty much they're trying to learn, and from what I'm hearing, spending time with a mentor as someone who's been down that road and has a lot of experience that can really fast track your road to success, right? Especially if you're
yeah.
someone like John Jones, or I imagine Kamaru, and you guys are just absorbing knowledge like a sponge. I'm guessing that really helps.
Oh yeah, 100%. That was the most important thing. Being able to serve that, you know, uh, kind of apprenticeship. You know what I'm saying? Being able to have a chance to learn underneath somebody and having an apprenticeship is it's an art form that's lost today. You know what I'm saying? Because there's not a lot of skilled jobs that people do. So just that whole idea of serving an apprenticeship is kind of lost, but it's extremely important because, if you have a good mentor, somebody good that you're serving under, they'll show you some of the pitfalls that you need to watch out for, so you don't have to do it yourself. You don't have to hit your head on all those bad obstacles that really, causes career to fall apart, because, KAMARU's seen so many things in my career as far as, just different relationship with managers and all these, different kind of things that just happens in the fight world, that about time he got to the position, he knew what to avoid. And he's done a very good job of making sure that he doesn't put himself in positions, that I put myself into that kind of, caused me a little bit of headache,
Yeah, and it's clear that KAMARU is super mentally strong and fit, which kind of leads me to ask, like, did you have mentors? I know last time we talked on Monday, you were saying that you grew up with 9 siblings to a single mother, and I imagine you didn't have, besides for your older brothers, I don't know what your high school life looked like. I know you played football, from at least what I saw on Wikipedia. You played wrestling, right? So I'm not sure if you had mentors that really helped you get to where you are today. I mean, you've accomplished legend status, right? And yeah, if you could build on that a little
bit. I did have mentors, guys who guided me, through and helped me to get where I am, and that's one reason why I try to make sure that I'm a good mentor for people, because I feel like I'm abundantly blessed because I did have the mentors that I had, and I felt like at every stage of my development, I had a really good mentor to help me to really see a potential that I didn't see in myself, and, when I was in high school, there's this karate guy, his name's Carl Brusino. He allowed me to take karate, didn't really have enough money to afford it, but he allowed me and my friend to to train, so, and also it kept us out of a lot of trouble, it kept us out of a lot of trouble to be in the gym, having to learn, the code of Bushido and just learning how to have all the things that it takes to be a martial artist. We had to really, bring in some of our wild nature because we were wild boys,
Oh yeah.
And I was a little, I used to give hell. So having that discipline, it really saved me in a lot of different ways. And then from there, I was in high school and I didn't want to stop. And I didn't want to compete in wrestling. Like, I signed up for a wrestling team and I was naturally a good wrestler, but I just hated wrestling. Like, it was just, it was during the winter time, it was cold and, the practices were long and it didn't even feel like a wrestling team. It felt like a track team because we had to run around the gym for not even the gym, the school, for about an hour before we can even do one wrestling takedown. So I was like, man, yeah, it was just really hard. So I just really didn't have the mental fortitude for it at first, or the mental appetite for it, I should say. And this coach, Dan Dixon, he would not let me quit. I mean, Bill Dixon, he did not let me quit. Bill Dixon was like, he was like, he said, I see something in you. And one day he said this in front of everybody. Like, it was like when I was not, bless you, baby, not good at all. He says, there's somebody in here who's going to do some big things in wrestling. And he said that to me, and I was just like, he said Rashad Evans. And I thought he missaid my name, and everybody turned around and looked around at me like, him? Like, he's absolutely trash, So
you weren't that great then, right? You were still developing.
I wasn't. I was still developing, so I don't even know what he's seen, but he's seen something in me.
Wow.
And that belief that he had in me, it really helped me out along the way, And also, in my MMA career, I got a chance to, spend some time with Dan Severn, the legend Dan Severn in Coldwater, Michigan. He was really good at kind of showing me the game of MMA and just really, just put me on game, because I fought in his shows when I first started and made my my MMA debut. Back then there was no amateur, so we just fought pro.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I fought in his shows, and then he kind of mentored me along the way. Then I would go to his gym and train and stuff like that. So it was it was a good experience, you know, but to answer your question, you know, having those mentors like that, it just meant absolutely everything. You know, not having those mentors, it would have made it difficult for me. I'll tell you that.